Okay, it's been a while since I recorded a video, and I'd just like to say that I had recorded a really good video on my iPhone. It was like 30 minutes of footage, and it got deleted. I recorded it on my birthday. It was like a nice deep talk. It was fucking wicked, and iMovie deleted the video because I had to like merge two together. Long story short, it kind of demotivated me, but now we're back. I'm holding myself accountable. It's been like a week. So I'm going over my last few days of trading. Yeah, it's been a week. Uh, Friday, I took a loss. I got caught in chop. I'm not really gonna go over it. If you traded Friday the 21st, it was my birthday, and I was kind of eager to get a trade. I'm just gonna throw it out there. Uh, I should have been more patient, or I should have just walked away. Anyway, I took the weekend to enjoy myself, and yeah, it's been a good week. I had lots of schoolwork, so I wasn't really too adamant on being risk on, which is something I've learned. Uh, every time that I've had a test or I should be studying, I try and trade New York session before, and I think there's a little too much stress, and it just usually ends up being a loss. So that being said, Friday was kind of crap, and going into this week, uh, Tuesday I had two tests, so I wasn't really looking for much. And Monday, so that's something I wanted to go over, is I've been going through my data a lot lately, and for me, Mondays are my worst day. Like hands down, like I think I have like a low win rate on it. And Friday we had a huge range, and Monday I wasn't really interested too much in trading. So that being said, I've gone over my problems in the past, and I've stated how like actually that's what the video that got deleted was on, was a lot of the problems that I've become aware of, and one of them is trading evals, because what I would do is I'd have my fundeds and I'd have an eval account, and I would trade them at the same time, but I would take trades on the eval account that I should have taken on the funded. It would ruin my strike rate, and before I knew it, I would go on losing streaks and go on drawdown, right? So that's why I eviscerated my Apex accounts, and I had three Top Step XFAs. Anyway, that being said, I passed the eval today. I accidentally left a uh, reset on bill, so I just randomly got charged like $100 for that. So I was like, "Fuck yeah, that's cool. I'm gonna use it, right?" Um, so I took three trades this week. Um, on all indices, I was bullish because this weekly sweep, I know a lot of people were still like bearish, thinking that November's monthly candle would be like just a bearish continuation. But I mean, this is just beautiful. Look at this October low, beautiful sweep. Going to the oop, daily. Yep. I mean, yeah. So this candle right here, this was a huge range, and if we were gonna go short, my target was up here. My target since Monday for Nasdaq were these previous mitigation wicks that were in the daily bearish fair value gap. And I mean, there's been so many times where we have this massive range, and it typically doesn't work, especially when we're projecting off of that higher time frame PD array. So this is Tuesday. My first trade was on YM. It was pretty much the same bias for every indice was I wanted to see the high of this range, and if we were to continue bearish, I would have liked uh move up to premium, and then from there, whatever. I knew that this week we probably wouldn't see that, and so actually this is the last week, because then the first is December. So anyway, um, yeah, on Monday I told myself that I wasn't gonna push any trades because I can't remember the last time Monday did me any good. I think for my personality, I would rather almost go into the week, start at Tuesday, see what Monday did, and see how I can frame my bias off of that. So YM, I should have been more organized. I just wanted to get this video out there before I was in the mood to record it. Yeah, so there's not really too much to say. This was open here, and I wanted to see this high taken. We had this internal range liquidity, and so I did take some notes, and I've stated it before that my A plus day or setup consists of session lows or highs. Typically, when Asia and London line up perfectly, that's like my bread and butter. I love that shit. Here we had this internal range, came down, respected premium, and you can see here that at open we manipulated lower. We left the reason I was interested in longing was even though we had taken Asia high, we had this internal high, and then we made equal highs just in pre-market before we started to break down lower. So this was 9:45, just before the new 4-hour candle. We swept it, made SMT with NQ, dropped down to the 1 minute, and so one of my biggest problems that was holding me back a while ago was like I was under the impression that when I trade these breakers that I typically have to like limit order. Like this is like 2 years ago, right? So I was just like limit ordering. But and I know a lot of people make fun of me for trading unicorns, but at the end of the day, it's all the same shit. I saw the manipulation. Um, yeah, so right here, we displace above the breaker. I was still waiting for the 10 o'clock 4-hour candle. We come up, we inverse this 5-minute gap, and I think I got in right around there. Mind you, this was eval, and I think yeah, so I passed my evaluation in 2 trades. So I made 1,500 on this. But and then I went break even after we took London high. So pretty good trade. You can actually see that we didn't quite like it. This actually stems into Tuesday. We didn't take this high, and we actually price this actually kind of fizzled out. And so I knew going into Tuesday that if we were to continue bullish, YM would probably be the strongest asset. Unfortunately, there was no trade for me. I mean, you can see it's just a fucking ugly reversal, right? Yeah, and then so targeted high of the what was it, 4-hour range. We had the daily for value gap. I went to attack again, and pretty simple shit. So Tuesday, I had 2 tests, and one of the tests started like right in the middle of New York session. So I have 2 different Nasdaq charts just so I can go over the trade. It was looking like price was actually going to like maybe like put in a Tuesday high of the week. We had again pre-market SMT here. ES had originally taken this high, and if I'm not mistaken, I think at one point ES also took this range high. Maybe that's Wednesday. Maybe I'm getting confused. I don't know. Yeah. So this trade, um, this 15-minute gap wasn't holding. We broke down lower, and the only way I wanted to actually go long was again if we respected a higher time frame, PD array, which you can see in the smaller bullish range, we respected premium. And this was ugly as shit, and I wasn't touching this. And so it wasn't till, I mean, what was this, from 9:30 till 11 EST, right? Prices just chopping, but we clearly respected the higher time frame order flow, and you can see at this 15-minute open, this is just right before lunch, New York lunch, which I don't trade. We came down, immediately tapped the 15-minute as soon as it opened. We had a SMT with ES, and I mean, we just had all of this low resistance liquidity, and I mean, I didn't think this SMT would hold, right? So, yeah, SMT here. That was my breaker, and after this fair value gap, I just marketed at that wick after it got confirmed. Target 2R, and again, we have these relative equal highs in the daily. That's my main target. So, that was my second trade on my eval. So I passed it in 2 trades. I risked, I think, 2% per trade, which is typically how I roll. I usually risk them higher. And then for the final trade, this was yesterday. So what was fucked yesterday is I had enough time to trade New York session. Like on Mondays and Wednesdays, I have like a large gap between my classes, so I can trade the entirety of it. And of course, I had like 3 A+ setups, and Top Step goes down, which is just my fucking luck. It seems like every time I have an A+ setup, or like I've been having a losing week, and it's like the one day that like my setup forms like the best, it's like Top Step will go down. So I love the fact that I've chosen Top Step to have all of my funding on now, which is just great. So I don't want to start buying evals for another prop firm until I have my shit together. Okay, this chart's kind of ugly. I apologize. So I got kind of lucky because I ended up making $500 across 3 accounts, and I didn't even actually know until like market close. So what ended up happening is for instance, again, I was bullish. Yeah, so Wednesday, ES had taken this range high. I still wanted to see those equal highs in the daily taken, and price had made SMT with Asia low, and we were respecting midnight open. And if we were bullish, I didn't want to see price pull back anymore. Like we had already had like a large than 50% pullback in this range, and so we were so close to the, I mean, you could say this is a market maker buyer model, whatever the fuck people call it. And I mean, we were so close to the draw that I just wanted to see price accumulate, expand higher past 10 o'clock, right? So that being said, what does price do? It respects midnight open. We're not seeing much. We're not seeing much. It wasn't really forming many 15-minute fair value gaps. So I was under the impression that the session SMT should stand if we are going to continue bullish. So as opposed to looking for a lower time frame entry, I also wanted to see the 15-minute hold. But what I did was I entered, well, I already have an entry there. I entered off the 15-minute breaker. Because if we go and look at the higher time frames, we know we're projecting off a weekly, and we had this 4-hour sweep. I mean, it doesn't really get easier than that, right? So it's very rare that I trade the 15-minute. It's because like the RR typically isn't good. So what happened was I originally entered long. I can't remember exactly when. I think it was around here, these candles. It was actually like at open. I don't really trade open, right? So what had happened is I opened two micro contracts, which was over $300 of risk, which is too much. So I'm like, okay, shit, this is too much. But what happened is originally when I entered it, my fill was awful as well. Because Top Step was being the Project X was being slow, and I'm like, what the fuck's going on? Like I thought my school internet was kind of bugging, so it entered me up here. I got out, yeah, like around here. I got out for like a $30 loss. I'm like, fuck, whatever. I go to market one contract, which would be around $200 risk, right? And it does a place. So it says pending order, and then price starts to fucking run, and I'm like, okay, great, right? I just potentially missed my entry. If Top Step's bugging, I'm just not going to trade. So I tried canceling it, and it never canceled. And I'm like, and then price started nuking and nuking. I'm like, okay, maybe we are fucking bearish. But I'm like, shit, I don't know if my accounts are safe because my order is like waiting to get placed. And so I'm kind of pissed off. I refresh Top Step and it fucking black like goes black screen. And I'm like, oh my god. So I go check my dashboard to see if my balance was getting updated live. That goes black too. So I'm like, great. So like, what the fuck's gonna happen to my accounts? You know what I mean? Like, and then price started going fucking long. By this point, I was just like, you know what? It's out of my control. I was keeping up with like the Discord, and yeah. So it wasn't until close to market close that they actually opened Top Step like back up, and like Project X was working, and I checked the dashboard, and I was floating like $500 in profit, and so. Hold on. So you can see that throughout the entire time that I could not actually access Project X, I was actually in this position. What had happened is it disconnected my um following accounts. So I had made $500 or like 450 across three of my accounts, but the account that I was uh copying, which was the brand new eval I had just passed Tuesday, didn't it actually took a loss, right? Like the $30 or whatever, or 50. It took a loss, which they then reset, but then they kept the profit on all my accounts. So technically on a win streak, even though like the first two trades were on eval. But after I checked my dashboard, I'm like, why is my balance going up? Why am I only at $300 drawdown? So I went and I just pressed cancel all, and then yeah, I mean you can see, yeah, so it was around there, 220. Yeah, so just above the breaker. So RR was actually kind of dog shit. I mean, if we're being honest, I actually didn't even have a stop technically because it only got my buy order in. But yeah, those are my three trades. So uh I'm green for the week. Today's American Thanksgiving, so no trades. And then Friday, probably no trades. It's like the almost the end of November. And then next week will be December, and I have more schoolwork, so I probably won't be trading Monday as well. Yeah, those are my trades for the week. I think this video was too long by accident. Whatever.